Okay, so recently, I mean years, my life maybe, but recently there's been a lot more trouble with, like with Adam, and like he's been to the dentist since, let's see, this is doctors, vets, dentists that we've had trouble with, especially this year, but we've had them before, and it's like, you know, they are set. They're not going to, like the vet, one of the weekend vets, when our dog, you know, oh, it was bad. They wanted us to pay like $10,000 just for 2 days, that they were going to take care of it. And I saw what they did with the other dogs when I was in there in the same kind of treatment. Just put them in this oxygen cage. No, and you know, Adam had a problem with the weekend dentist, and I mean, just on and on. We've had problems, and I've had problems ongoing with doctors. Okay, and I went to one this week, and Adam was with me, and he's fed up too. He is fed up with what he sees when he goes with me. You know, I just walk in, the doctor just walks in, starts immediately, you know, being a jerk. And even with Adam there, I mean, I bring him there so this kind of stuff, it wouldn't be as bad. Well, it's still bad. So imagine what it would be if he weren't there. And I mean, I've seen it. I have seen it worse. And I couldn't sleep the night before because I said, what is it going to be this time? It was another new doctor to me. What is it going to be this time? And sure enough, it was. Well, all that happened. And then all these other doctors, these doctors who, he was one of them, 2 days before my appointment, my first appointment with him, he had his staff call me, a staff member, and tell me that he had to reschedule. And the way she put it was, he decided he was going to have an emergency that day. So he wants to reschedule your appointment. You decide you're going to have an emergency. I know, I mean, it could be something. But no, usually I think she just slipped up and told the truth. You know, he decided to say that it was an emergency. Never known an emergency to be planned, but it's kind of like the doctor, the urgent cares that want you to schedule an appointment. I don't think people know when they're going to need an urgent care. But anyway, even Adam and I are two different people, and when he first heard me say that, I'd already had the opinion, you know, and said, what's this, urgent care? You know when you're going to need urgent care to schedule an appointment. Oh my gosh. But he was like, what? But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff these days, and overall, what my experience is, and I don't expect it to have been anybody else's, you're not seeing the same people, you're not doing the same thing, you don't have the same health condition. I have a rare one, and boy, that causes all kinds of problems. Been doing it for 25 years. They diagnosed me first time. Well, it was actually in the year 2000 with a CT, but before that, 2 years before that also, without that. And that was in California. The first one was in California. Other time was in a hospital here in Texas. And anyway, so I've been through 25 years, let's say 25, give or take, years of just all kinds of problems with doctors throwing temper tantrums. They don't want to put their stamp on it. They don't want to diagnose. And I'd like to be able to say that it wasn't all of them. I say that, but wasn't it? Well, there's one I can think of right now. And there's something going on there, so that was just waiting to happen. Yeah. But I mean, all this stuff, and you know, okay, I got my car detailed, and anytime I rub my hand, put my hand on this thing right here, it slides across it. The SUV's all clean, but it smells also. And I have chemical allergies, especially perfumes, but it's not right now. That's good. Anyway, there was a little side note. But anyway, I had decided that, you know, after it was such a bad experience, and it was a bad experience again for Adam. The same last year, one of them was a bad experience for both of us. He doesn't like to talk about stuff like that, and until he's ready, like last year, it was traumatic for him. I'm not kidding. What he saw, what he experienced himself, and what he experienced them doing to me, seeing it happen. The way this one last year, she spoke to me, and brand new to me. Of course, we never went back. I never went back. And she was very bad. And then now he's saying this year, like, you know, what's going on? Why are they so bad? You know, he's just, like I said, he and I are very different in a lot of things, including this kind of thing. But now he's starting to see the light by going with me and seeing what really happens, you know, to someone like me. And there's also included, and I can include this, and I'm going to, a woman. Okay, seriously, because this "you're gonna mind me" stuff, he has never known any doctor to tell him he's going to mind him. I don't know of any man who's ever said the doctor told them, "You will mind me." They don't have a problem saying that to a woman, do they? Those who do. Anyway, it was a bad experience. So, and this is not my first with experiences with it. I made the same things had happened, doctor. A couple of years ago, you know, you might think that I talk a lot. No, this is the only place I really get to speak, because I'm often interrupted, because everybody thinks their life and everything they're doing, make it all about them, and, you know, not everybody, but quite a bit, especially healthcare providers. I'm asking a question. I had 3 things I wanted this doctor to address. I mentioned that he come in guns blazing, wanted to talk about something else, and I said, I'm not here to talk about that. This is what I want to talk about. I mean, right from the get-go. He was wanting to ask me why I didn't like his partner. Well, it's none of his business. And I let him know in a nice, direct, stern voice. I am not here to discuss him. This is what I want to discuss. Man, I'm sick of it. Anyway, okay, I'm just going to jump ahead again. Forget the rest of that part. So, after I left there, I said, you know, I mean, there is no way. He's trying to set it up that it's the problems with me, because I won't tell him what is the problem. I won't tell any of them. I say it's just not a good fit. I'm old enough to know that it's just not a good fit. And I am old enough to know that when it's not a good fit. Some doctor walks into the room, looks at me, and says, I'm going to change your medicines, and I'm going to run a lot more tests. No, you don't tell me what you're going to do. You discuss it with me. I choose if you're going to run those tests. I choose if you're going to change my medicines. And that is how it is supposed to be. Here in the United States, I learned that at university, in graduate school. Okay, and they know that. But they don't want that. So it skirts the issue, go around the corner, jumping, talk over you, push that all aside. You know, I want to go back directly to where I want to do. These healthcare providers. Oh, it's so sickening. Anyway, like I said, I told Adam. Well, I didn't tell Adam then. But I told myself that I'm just going to play it different. I'm just going to go on with my life and just not thinking anymore about what that is. I know the score. I've known the score really since I was a kid. As a kid, I didn't know enough to see it the same way. As a kid, I saw something that was very weird about it all. How they acted, people working for doctors, the doctor, the nurse. Back then, the nurse wasn't in her home. It was always a she. I never knew a male doctor, male nurse back then, nor a female doctor. But, you know, they weren't separate. They worked together. Not an MA and the doctor, but a nurse and the doctor. And anyway, just the way they acted. So anyway, so I just said, I mean, there's no getting around it because they're going to do what they want to do. This one let me know it. That since I wouldn't jump to that big test, I wouldn't jump all the way and let them do an intrusive, very intrusive. Is it intrusive? I could be using the wrong word, but that could kill me. It's a procedure. So they can find out if there's something wrong and fix it. They don't know. And then he told us, well, there is a test some test they can do before then that would say the same thing, and it's not intrusive. And Adam said, well, why didn't that other doctor tell her that? I mean, we're fed up. Yeah, but then as he was talking about it, he said, and if this doesn't do that, and if we're going to have to do that one anyway. So in other words, they're going to get back around, but they're going to make more money in the process by doing all these tests and procedures and da-da-da-da-da. You see, they're going to have their way. Their children. One of them, he actually acted like a child. Okay? You're not letting me do what I want to do. Twice he said that to me. And he would be the age of, you know, my son's kind of age where I would be old enough to be his mother. That kind of thing. Man. So I just said that's it. There's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, I hate learned helplessness. You know, this is something that was one of my first things I studied when, you know, started earning my degrees in psychology and sociology. Learned helplessness was one of the first things that I remember studying. Okay, and that's what this is. You know, like Adam and I were discussing a little while ago, you don't know. They maybe they don't seem to, like he was saying, they have their own little world that they live in, with their patients in it, their staff in it, and they live in this world, and that's how everything is going to be. They're very out of touch with the world outside and how things truly work, other than what they wanted to, how they want it to within their practice. Yeah, you know, because I was telling him, I said, I'm so tired, you know, there was a whole thing, which is what I want to talk about, is how they get everything so screwed up by leaving messages, all this stuff, you know. So anyway, and I'm going to jump in too far ahead. But, yeah. Okay, so anyway, boy, my elbows, you know, I put them one on the console and one on this door, and they keep sliding off. It's weird. They slide. So, anyway. Okay, so where was I? I stopped to let some fresh air. And let me try this again. I stopped to put some fresh air in here. You know, because of the cleaning stuff, the way it smells. But anyway, so where was I? So I had decided, you know, just to, that's where I was, decided just to, you know, there's no fighting. And I had gotten so sad and saddened by it that day I came out here to do my videos. It's like 7:46 right now, p.m. And I came out to do my video, and I knew I was going to make one, and I was going to put it on a private channel, and as private, and just for me, you know, to talk about what I experienced, you know, during the day. It was that day that I did it. And at some point, I got really angry. I'm a very mild-mannered person, and I've always been, you know, in the past, people thought of me as calm, cool, collected, and mild-mannered. And my anger, you know, me getting angry or furious or any of that, it's so lame. It is. I am not a histrionic that's going to make sure the whole world knows how I feel and what I, this kind of stuff. Here goes that elbow again. And I'm just not that type of person. But I was so angry that day. I'm saying but as if it was not that big really. Still, it was kind of mild-mannered. But I got angry while I was making that video, and I started cussing. And I'm not one to cuss, I've worked around a lot of kids and a lot of elderly people and in my life, and I mean, it's just not me anyway. So, but especially because of, and so, and in that video I was cussing, and I was saying I'm so blinking tired of this blinking, bleeping. And I can laugh at it now, but then I started crying. I am not a crybaby. I'm not a person. I don't want to call that a crybaby, so strike that. I don't cry. I usually do not. And, I don't know why. I have my own thoughts about that, but I even read again, what is the average for women. I don't trust what they say, because I heard much more for humans before, and I was like, that is so wrong. That is so wrong. But anyway, I don't, and I cannot remember before than the time that I cried. I cannot. It was that long ago. But it's just not something that's common. But this time I had a good cry. I mean, a good cry. I went inside, and it was probably like close to 9 that day that I went inside the house. 9 p.m. Not a.m. but p.m. And I think I tried to go to try to sleep or just lay down and watch TV. And I wasn't feeling well, and I'd been telling Adam ever since, even I think, once we left that doctor's office, especially, I'm not feeling that great. Well, I know that at 1 o'clock, I think it was right at 1 o'clock, I was telling him, come and save me, come and help me, save me. And I was in the bathroom right outside the master bedroom is my little bathroom. I like having my own little half bath. And he come in there and he said, why is the light off, And then he knew I was very violently ill. I'd already been in the room and said, I'm not feeling great, and something's this and this. And then I walked out to go to the bathroom. I started yelling for him, come help me, save me. I really seriously thought I was dying. No joke. And this has been happening to me for not this thing, but yeah, some of it was this thing. But for the past year, I've had experiences that it's like, some bad health conditions. And when I go see all these different doctors, and they just want to do nothing but run more tests, just run more tests. Do all the tests at one time. Get them done. Don't, so you make more money, you call me back and you charge me for a follow-up visit. Then you take, we're gonna run this test this time. Come back. We're gonna give you a follow-up. Charge you for the follow-up. Come back. We're gonna do more and more tests, Come on, man. And they say that about doctors in Texas. I heard it somewhere recently, this year, like within the past month, that Texas has good doctors, but because they stretch things out and they don't do things quick enough, fast enough, people die. Because of they're stretching it out. Yeah, they want to make that money. That's all that matters. Not all of them. I'm saying this. Not all of them. But the ones who do this. Okay. So anyway, I had that good cry. I had that meltdown, crying. That's not a meltdown. I should have been crying all this time for what I've been experiencing. My goodness. And so much. I'm a very strong-minded person, and I have been through a lot in my life. I'm not saying that a person who cries is weak. No, I think they're even stronger. Seriously. Not the ones who are doing it so They make the world know they're crying. You know, as in they you're saying, but wait a minute, you're putting this on video. No, I'm talking about the people right in front of other people. Oh, wailing and, you know, they hit people who have histrionic behaviors. If I were here wailing, still I wouldn't say anything. Because, you know, I feel proud of the people who can actually cry. Not the ones, I should say it this way, not the ones who have crocodile tears. The crocodile tears and the exaggerated, exaggerated wailings. So people look at me, you know, kind of thing. And, but anyway, so then I got sick. Bad. It was bad. And finally it was over. Finally, I went to sleep. Slept most of the day, the next day. And off and on. Because it was like probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when I was finally able to go back to sleep. Or go to sleep. So, okay. And, you know, I'm not any kind of health care provider, so I'm not a voice of authority on it. But I could say maybe it was food poisoning, but I've had food poisoning before. Actually, never diagnosed, but this was somehow different. I think it was from the stress of everything, in part, at least in part, the stress. It was too much for me, and so I decided, I'm determined, I'm not going to see this stuff the same way. And all this comes back to me. I'm not going to, you know, let these things bother me. I have to learn, you know, and I am a person who can do that and say, I want to change my ways, and I can, you know. So I said that, you know, told myself, gave myself a good talking to. So just let it go. You know, like on Reba, when the character Van said, it's one word, let it go. You know? So, you gotta find humor in some of these things. You laugh or go crazy. That's how I see it. And so then I remembered 2 years into it, I had made a little video about this, so I feel like I'm repeating myself. But within the past 2 weeks, maybe, I don't know. I don't have everything in a calendar in my head, but somebody within that system, really nice person, told me, she said, you know, you can leave messages for the doctor through the portal. It directly goes to the doctor. And I told her, really? I said, I wouldn't know that. We were both two nice people talking to one another. We were laughing, and, you know, she was so helpful to me. So very helpful. 2 years after I had been with this group. Or group, or whatever they call it. System or something. And, but yeah, I was so thankful to her. She told me a few things. And, I would have never known that. I mean, I may have chanced upon it some other time, but no, I would not have known it if she didn't tell me that I can direct. I mean, I'm 62 years old. I have never experienced being able to leave a doctor a direct note that goes, you know, any kind of email or comment or text or phone message that goes, that's only heard through him or her, to any provider. Never in my lifetime, ever. So why would I think that I can do it now? Somebody has to tell you, you know, unless you just chance upon it. You know, you can do this. Wow, I can do that. Adam was the same way. He goes, what? I would never think that. I would never think I could leave a direct message to my doctor or my nurse, or, yeah, he's older than I even, so, hey, you know, really. So I thought, you know, this time I'm going to, that would help. That would help. Then there's none of this. I try to go through their office and leave a voice, you know, call their office number, leave a message saying I need this to go to the doctor, And by the time it gets back, the doctor answers me, what did it do? Go through a grapevine? And by the time it got to him, it was totally, him or her. In that case, it was a him. Totally messed up. And it kept happening. And the way some of the people I spoke to, the way that they spoke to me, no, you don't speak to people this way. I don't care who. I didn't know her from Adam. I didn't know her from Eve. I didn't know her at all. And she was talking down to me like that. Nobody talks down to me in any way. I don't accept BS, but I was saying, that's one of the things I was saying. Now I don't have to do that. Now I don't have to listen to these office dramas. These people have a feeling of superiority, haughtiness. That they're superior because they work for a doctor. So they're superior to the patients. Oh man, seen it all my life since I was a child. So anyway, so I was so happy. I'm leaving a direct message because I have to go to this other doctor to start physical therapy again. I really need it. So I had stopped the physical therapy when I was diagnosed in March with it was muscle atrophy, but I was there for. But I was diagnosed with heart failure, and it was actually the physical therapist who pushed me to go. Okay, so I needed to restart it, and the doctor that I saw this week said it has to go through my PCP. So I wrote to my PCP. I was so happy. I'm doing something different. You know how they say you do the same thing expecting different results is the definition of a fool? Well, and it can include you're doing the same thing. I'm calling the phone and leaving a message at different doctor's offices. So it's not the same people, and it's never the same person who answers because it's a call center kind of thing. Or, well, they don't call them call centers. They're here local. See, I don't know what, one of them told me today what they call it. She told me they are at this center. I don't know what she calls it, but they make all the phone calls and schedule the appointments and all that. And anyway, so I wasn't doing the same thing. I mean, the same thing, like I said, it could be different offices, but you're doing the same thing. You're trying to leave a message for the doctor or the nurse practitioner, whomever. You're expecting this different results, as in it actually getting to the doctor or the whatever provider and the way you said it. So, hey, I was doing it different. I was actually having it in text, sent through the portal, my name on it, my words. And I, believe it or not, in writing, don't look at my description, I need to fix them. But in writing, I am very clear. I remember I worked for a doctor, a surgeon, and he said, I want to hire you to write all my legal letters because I'm very professional when I write. If it's for a good reason, I can be kind of lazy. Not lazy, I just be, everyday kind of thing too. But if I have to write something professional, I'll write something professional. Now, if only that would be the same. But anyway, so the doctors, yes, they write very professional. But the staff at this one before, she must have thought I was her girlfriend, and she was sending me one very, very long sentence, went on and on forever, no punctuation, no capitalization. Then she actually hit a period in the middle of it, and it started a half sentence, and she didn't bother to go back and fix it, and made no sense. Again, grapevine kind of thing. So her response. So I was happy, yay, doing something more positive, doing something that makes me feel better than having to worry that it's going to go through the grapevine, it's going to go not to get to the doctor right, yay. And I knew it probably would be the next day before, which was this morning, before I heard back. I didn't hear back yesterday, but I was thinking, I would think that he might have. And then this morning came through, and it has a icon, you know, that always has their picture, and mine to them has my picture on the icon, so they know, you know, they can recognize my face too. I can recognize theirs. And I was expecting my male doctor, because I sent it directly to him, but it come back half him, half that other doctor. Not the one I saw this week. The one I saw a week or two before. Did not like her. And they had me see her because his appointment was scheduled way out. Oh, and all this stuff. And I had sent it directly to him. She replied. But she didn't. She wrote, like, you can restart your physical therapy. And, you know, somebody would have called me. So I sent her back, okay, thanks. No need for really anything really long on that one. And I got it right when it came through, 8 o'clock, a few minutes after 8. Sent it back. They called me, and I scheduled my, I got to go for the first meeting, and they decided how many days I need to do it, how often I need to do the physical therapy. And it's not going to be the same one that I had before. I did not request it not be the same one. It's just the one that was available, and it's nearby. Okay, it's the place that I went to before, so I know where it is and all that. It's not far, and but it's not the same physical therapist, which in a way is good, even though she was the one to tell me to go to the hospital, and she was right on, and I'm glad she did. I really am. But she was also talked a lot about money, about how much, you know, not how much, but how important it is for her to make money off of my visits. Kind of like that. And I wasn't really happy with her. I don't like people who talk about their money, how much money she didn't say the amount, but you see what I'm saying. You know, to talk about that. And then whenever I quit, and I told her I'm not going to be doing physical therapy right now, because I was diagnosed with, you know, the heart failure. I have to wait until, you know, the cardiologist clears me. You know, I want to make sure I do that before I do physical therapy. Turns out he doesn't, this new one, this is the third one, he doesn't want to talk about that. That's my other doctors. Whatever, man. You know, but anyway, I'm not impressed with cardiologists. So, I'm not the ones. I was impressed with the first one I saw. Really impressed. Yeah, the first one at the hospital. But not this. Boy, this is so long, man. This video. That's okay. So anyway, I mean, imagine I was thinking, so positive. Oh, I'm doing great. And then it came back from this woman. So I could sit there and go, why is it done like this? You know, I could do that. Wonder what kind of game are they playing now? That's what Adam was saying. You know, what are they doing now? What's this? I said, exactly. I was feeling like, okay, this goes directly to that doctor. And, you know, no, it wasn't going to go directly to that doctor. It went to the other doctor, one of his partners. He and her. And I thought he was mad at me because that day that I had that appointment with her, and he saw me. He was, I mean, right next to me, walking into a door right next to where I was sitting, waiting. And he looked at me, and he just had an upset look on his face. He's my age. And he's told me before, I don't want you to see anybody but me. And so I kind of felt it. I mean, I'm not new to this world, so I felt that he was a little upset that day. And I had thought that there was an appointment on the books for me with him in October, and there wasn't. So I had already made it before I sent that. But I don't know. I mean, I can understand, you know, people, he wants it a certain way, and I wanted it a certain way. But his office staff, they're the ones who said, you have to do it with this doctor. You know. And I did not know that I think I had read it somewhere. I had, and I just think I could schedule appointments. I want to start avoiding them too. Adam's looking at me. Anyway, I'm wrapping this up anyway. Like I said, it was getting too long. I'll talk to y'all in another video. He knows it smells too.